Hi, this is the Lourdes and Chris Show.
This brilliant, amazing, shining example of all bright light and beauty is my wonderful wife, Lourdes. And I'm more excited than a poor man hitting the lottery.
I'd be excited too, even
Well,
I'm
actually-
not a poor man.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're not a poor man.
But I would definitely be excited.
Yeah, I'd be all right hitting the lottery. That would make me excited. And I'm saying jackpot, people. I'm talking large sums.
Yes,
not that, oh, I got $4. I guess I'll go buy another
Oh, that's
one.
true, because hitting the lottery can mean anything.
Yeah. I'm talking jackpot,
Yes.
baby.
And this is my husband, who is more excited than a poor man hitting the jackpot lottery.
That's right. The jackpot. That's right. Actually, somebody won $1 billion, right? Not too long ago.
1.4 billion or something like that. One person.
I
Crazy.
guarantee that man was excited.
He was very
But
excited.
I'm just as excited as that man.
Why?
Well, I'll tell you in a second. But first, I do want to thank our partner. Well, actually, it's because of our partner, Dr. Nuzum.
Yes.
We have Dr. Nuzum on the show today, and we love Dr. Nuzum. We know you do
He's
too, from all the feedback we're getting from you. But Dr. Nuzum is an amazing man, and we love whenever he's on the show because he has a way of breaking stuff down in such a way where you get it. You get what
you
he's
get a lot
talking
of
about.
aha moments, like that makes sense, and then it kind of gets your brain going, your mind going. You're going, okay, these are the things I need to do. I got to get on this. I got to change that. It inspires you to do it.
Yep.
Yes.
And so if you haven't started following drnewsome.com, you can just go to drnewsome.com and check out his products while you're on the page. Right now, there's actually a promotion going on. If you use promo code Lourdes and Chris at checkout, you get 15% off.
15%
so
off.
You just got to try his stuff because everybody that has the feedback that we've gotten is that it's amazing and it's doing amazing things for their body.
Every single person who has got on his stuff, I got to tell you, every last one of them have been very happy with the results. And thank you guys, honestly, for the feedback, what it's doing for you. I mean, that is inspiring for us as well. So
yeah, it makes us just reaffirms that we chose the right partner.
Yes, it does.
And if you haven't already come on to lourdesandchrisShow.com, you need to head over there too and sign up for that newsletter. We are making a call for action. We need people to send us their stories of how they heal themselves naturally. We would like to start a segment once a weekish, little snippets of people.
It'll just be little snippets that we'll be sharing, just like little selfies of yourself, kind of giving us, 5 to 15 minutes on what you were dealing with, what you went through, and what you started doing, and what made you do that? What made you choose to take that route?
Yeah, because really, at this point, we're meeting so many people that have healed themselves naturally. It's inspiring to hear all their stories on what they did to turn their health around. And we just want more people to feel that inspiration that we feel whenever you reach out to us. So look for that email coming up in the lourdesandchrisShow.com. So don't, check your spam or whatever. But also, yes, that's what we're calling about. Anyways.
And you can go to the lourdesandchrisShow.com and donate to help this mission and cause that we are on. Helping to educate and change people's health lifestyle, right? Like just really get into a healthy
we're
lifestyle.
so grateful for those of you who have donated because you really, really have made a big difference in us being able to continue this show. And thank you so much for that.
Yes, we really appreciate that. And you can also go there and check out past episodes. A lot of times you'll see stuff that you go, they talked about this one. What was it? If you go there, they're all listed right there on the first page.
Yeah, and then products that we love and use are on that page.
And then you can just go on to the other pages on that website and it'll give you the products, information. Like there's just so much on there. Definitely go and check out the lourdesandchrisShow.com.
Absolutely. And so I don't know that there's much to say about Dr. Nuzum. Fans of the show know who he is. If you haven't seen the show yet, and this is your first time, buckle up. You're in for a treat. I'm telling you, Dr. Nuzum is just an amazing man. And we're so thrilled whenever he's on our show. And you'll find out why in just a second. So
we get so excited.
Yeah,
so,
ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Nuzum.
You,
so I saw that your intermittent fasting book.
Yes.
That's exciting. It's so weird because the way I lost weight was through intermittent fasting. So it's interesting that timely that you should come up with that. That was what I was using to lose weight was intermittent fasting, and ketosis. So I was doing both. Right. But it's quite restrictive for me because when I'm on ketosis, I'm a vegetarian, so I don't eat the meat, and it's like the ketosis diet is easy peasy for someone who's a meat eater. I mean, so
Right.
many options. Yeah, so many
Right.
options. But
So is it more meat or something when they're on?
yeah.
Oh, got it.
It's no carbs, it's no sugars.
Yep. I
and-
just released a like a keto guide, a ketogenic guide. Okay, so in there I have some suggestions for if you're going to be vegetarian, looking at things like adding some dairy and adding eggs and things like that into the mix. So it's not you can't really.
I like eggs just fine.
Right. As the thing with the ketogenic diet is doing it with being vegan and ketogenic. That's really not. You can't really be vegan and do.
You're eating salad and avocados. That's what.
Right. You keep your bottle of olive oil right next to you because you're gonna be drinking it all day long.
Now, I didn't see the guide though. I think I saw the book, right? Because you guys wrote a book.
Right. That's it's meant to be a guide. My book.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yes.
Nice.
That is what I saw then. Yeah.
The idea is, so we have menus in there. We have shopping lists.
Well, we have to make sure we talk about this too on there. Because
that's why I bring it up, because your books are comprehensive. That's the thing that people need to understand. It's so in this field, a lot of times a doctor will release something and it's just confusing. Hey, do this. And you're like, great, but what about you're more comprehensive. You're like, let's give them some recipes. Let's make sure they understand there are options.
And how to do it.
Years ago, I'd have patients and I'd start them on detox programs.
Yeah.
I'd make all the remedies, have all the supplements ready for them. They get started and I tell them what to eat, because I always like to premise what to eat versus just telling you what not to eat.
No, that's right. Yeah,
it's totally different. So if you okay, eat this. This is something for you to focus on, and it's positive.
Yeah.
If I say don't eat this, it's already in Spanish. Castigando, it's already, it's already setting the tone. It's already negative. It's already, you're already saying, oh, you can't do this. So it's not empowering. From my standpoint, now I would give them a list of things to eat.
Yeah,
but it was individual. Asparagus, carrots, and right.
Right.
It was a menu, and so. Gina was doing a detox one time and she's like, so what's your menu that you have for your patients? The menu? I don't have a menu.
But I would imagine that would vary. I think that would vary from patient to patient though, wouldn't it?
It was right. So what we did is her and I started working on menus. Okay. And she's for the last, probably 15 years been making up menus for us for detox programs and all that stuff. And then we decided to do, the ketogenic diet, something that's been around for 120 years or so.
No, you're right. When I was looking into it, because now it's like a buzzword. Now it's hot topic. But when I looked into it, you're right. It was prescribed
epilepsy.
Yes.
Epilepsy, neurologic diseases of virtually any kind. And for years, was almost the only way it was ever used. I mean, for
really
maybe 80 years, no one used it for anything other than, fixing epileptics or helping people with MS and those types of things. I mean, it was never, ever, no one even knew about it. It was just this weird medical diet that never heard of.
That's really interesting to know that.
Yeah.
It really didn't hit the public probably till about 25 years ago.
Wow.
I mean, it didn't hit anywhere big time until maybe the last 5 years. It's been a last.
Yeah, I was gonna say I literally was just recently hearing this the past few years, but before that,
well, especially recently, because when I have to get back into it because we've got an event coming up in October, and I've lost quite a bit of weight, but I want to be further down my trail. I want to feel better because I told you before I've got joint pains and things like that, which is why I love Inflamagon. And
which, by the way, I gotta say, I have a few friends that are loving it.
Yeah.
In fact, a friend of ours, Van Doren, she was taking it and she goes, wow, like I feel way better. And, like the pains were going on. And so then she goes, so what I did is I thought, well, let me just see, it's not just, by coincidence. She goes, so she stopped taking it for 2 days. She goes, no, Lord, it's
Oh,
works. I said,
That's
I told you. Yeah,
It does.
she's in love with
That's
it.
one of
I have a
my-
few things like that.
challenges. I because patients every once in a while they're saying, Doc, I don't think this stuff's doing anything, So, well, okay, let's just stop for a week, keep doing what you normally do, and let's see if it's any different. They're like,
Yeah.
2 days later, Doc, can I get back on this stuff?
Yep.
Every time. Okay, it was working. Yeah.
Mhm. That was my friends. They're like, oh yeah, this stuff works. Like I told you.
What,
No,
what
but we
would
wanted
you
to
like
talk about the mindset thing.
And we also want to talk
we
about
could do that.
the fulvic that you were talking about on, because I shared it also in the Create Action C group. And I'm like,
Oh, nice.
yeah, because I think fulvic is so important.
It so fulvic acid up until probably 60 years ago was something that would have been found in every fruit and vegetable anyone ate.
Right.
Wow.
And it's been in the last 60 years because of farming methods. It's been washed out of it just doesn't exist in our food chain anymore. And
That's sad.
by design, okay, the microorganisms in our soil eat the soil, they eat the minerals and all the components of the soil, they break that down, and when they're done digesting all that, part of what is left from the microbes that are even in their guts is a little bit of humic and fulvic acid. Okay.
Oh,
And
Well,
it should,
I like that.
No, but we're seeing farmers now who are kind of going back to basics, and they're rotating cows and chickens in one field and making them move around, and then every year planting because they want the poop in there.
no, yeah, exactly.
No.
That they're the soil. Here's a real quick something real interesting. If you take from a chemistry standpoint, you take the human body. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're 65% oxygen. We're 18.5% carbon. We're 11.5% hydrogen. And then we're about 2% nitrogen. And the other 1.5% is everything else on the periodic table.
Wow.
Okay.
Including things like calcium, magnesium, sodium, your electrolytes. That's still only 1.5% of our total makeup.
It's so weird how they focus on.
I totally want. This is such good info.
Okay,
right
before
now.
we get into it,
I don't want nobody to miss these.
Once I get Doc Newsom, I have questions. Okay, so 2 questions that came up since the last time we talked for people reaching out to me. You do a lot of work with hormones, low testosterone.
Yes.
I've been diagnosed with low T before. Actually, this is years ago. I don't know if I still have that or not. But do you have stuff that's good for low testosterone?
What I do is I make specific mixes for guys.
Okay.
Guys,
I'll have them reach out to you then.
they don't always. It's interesting from a natural standpoint. It's all about reconnecting the dots, getting the machinery operational again. Is what it's all about. That's and I don't just mean machinery for certain activities. I mean. Metabolic machinery is what I'm talking about, which helps those other things, but
That's more of a side effect. Yeah, right.
It's a side effect. Exactly. It's a side effect. And I don't have specific men's products out there. A lot of the ingredients for those things are really like ridiculously expensive at the moment.
Yeah.
And I have formulas, but I'm only just kind of formulating them as needed for the gentleman. What's interesting is it's easier to remedy women's hormone issues from a natural standpoint than it is to remedy men's.
That kind of makes but that kind of makes sense too if you think about it, because as life givers, your body probably naturally regenerates hormones at a certain degree because you're the reproducers.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
so nature's going to give us more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, with guys, most men don't even think about working on a problem when it first gets started. Just I'll be all right.
Well, I've heard horny goat weed. I've heard
Horny
there's-
goat weed.
Oh yeah.
there's a product called horny goat weed.
What a weird name.
Oh yeah, it was a weed that the Chinese noticed when the goats ate it, like they wouldn't settle down.
Oh, really? So that's why it's called horny.
That's why it's called that. This was
Yeah, you can actually get
Oh.
that. They have it at Sprouts and everything. It's out
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
It's just
I
I
had no idea.
in my product line, I would say the best of all things. This might sound really strange, but bromelain.
okay.
That the digestive enzyme bromelain. I'll explain that in just a minute.
Is that Super Digest?
It's in Super Digest. We also have specific, just straight bromelain.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
The reason that's good, and this is good for anyone with hormone issues, you have to have enough proteolytic enzymes in your bloodstream for your hormone producing glands to release the hormones that they're producing.
Got it.
Okay, which is something no one ever addresses that. I've never seen that addressed in its.
Well, that's why I said I'll ask him when I talk to him. I said because he has a way of saying it in such a way where bromelain and the Super Digest. But what I did tell him, and this is what I know about you, is Doc Nuzum is all about getting your body functioning properly. So all of his products kind of do that because your body wants to make testosterone. It just needs the stuff to do it. So I'm sure it's something like that. So
Yeah. Well,
The,
besides the bromelain, is there something else?
Super Earth Energy.
Oh,
Super
okay,
Earth
sure.
Energy.
we love
um,
Super Energy.
Yeah, that
One
makes
of
sense.
the reasons why your body wouldn't be actually producing the testosterone is it doesn't have enough energy to do it.
Mm.
And if the
Ah.
mitochondria aren't working right, you can't have mitochondrial dysfunction in one area of your body.
Super Earth Energy.
Super Earth Energy.
For nearly 2 decades, Dr. Nuzum was developing this formula.
This one.
2 decades of his life, nearly 2 decades.
I mean, that's really make dedication to giving you the best quality of a supplement that's going to give you not only energy, I mean, it improves adrenal and,
Well, so it improves your adrenal and muscle fatigue.
Yep.
It actually helps with chronic fatigue syndrome, a compromised immune system, sleep deficit, brain fog.
which many are experiencing a low sexual desire. I mean, this 2 decades, there's a reason. He put a great formula together. He formulated, and it's just amazing. Like, we love it.
Yeah. So here's the thing. It's like we were just telling our daughter the other day. It's not like it gives you like a caffeine jittery feeling. It's more like you're just awake.
Yeah, like, when you were a kid and you,
Right.
you didn't feel, kids they seem to not get tired. So it's kind of that. You don't go, oh, I feel like all this caffeine. It's none of that, because I personally can't do caffeine. It
Right.
really, it causes me nausea, migraines. I just can't do caffeine. But I take this and I just don't feel tired. Like, I can spend a whole day really getting a lot of things done and not feel exhausted, or I have to take a nap, or I still do my meditation stuff, but oh my gosh, amazing.
It's because it's giving you energy at a cellular level. Now, all you have to do to get this product is go to www.drnuzum.com and look for Super Earth Energy. We've got it ourselves, but
Yeah.
we should do a little, like, still show them what that bottle looks like. And
Yes.
there it is, Super Earth Energy. That's right. Go to drnuzum.com.
Yes. drnuzum.com. In fact, right here, we see the link.
Oh, see, now I got to put it there. I
That's
was
right.
going to put it there now, but now it's got to be there.
Or he can still put it here, but definitely here.
It's going to be 2 places now.
Super Earth Energy.
If you have, okay, let's say you lost 10%. You have a 10% reduction in your mitochondria activity. That's going to be 10% of your liver function, heart function, brain function, bone function, hormone function, digestive function. Every function in the body is going to reduce by 10% because the mitochondria, the activity of mitochondria reduces globally, not per tissue.
Oh, wow.
Sure.
So one of the ways to
All
help,
right.
get things back online is get those mitochondria working right again.
Super
And
Earth energy.
that's where Super Earth Energy comes
Which
in.
we love super Earth
Yeah, we
energy.
really do.
Yeah.
And then
I have taken, personally, I take 12 capsules a day, and I have done that
really?
for 22 years.
oh, okay.
Oh, wow. I'm like, I do like two. I'm
I
way
do two
behind.
twice a day. Yeah, right. I gotta up my game here. Now,
I'm gonna raise that
the other
up.
question that came up was, and this I wrote it down because I'm like, I don't know. BPC 157 peptide.
Uh-huh. Very,
it's-
very good, especially for acute injuries.
Okay.
Typically, it works best when it's injected. You can take it orally.
Okay. Your body makes it though, right?
Yes, it's something that your body makes, and
Okay.
it's a repair peptide. It's something that you lift something too heavy, slip a disc, or lift something too heavy and pull something, or you slip and fall, or sports injuries, things like that. It's great, really good. It's like pushing the fast forward button on your healing process, especially for
nice.
soft tissue type stuff. Works really well as an anti-inflammatory as well.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's what I told him. I said Inflamagon it works with inflammation as well.
Great.
Yeah.
But when I looked it up, BPC, whatever I just said, I wrote it down. Whatever that was, I said your body makes it. So if you get your body back on track, it should be making that as well. I mean, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was because in the imbalance of us lacking it's because our foods are so depleted.
It's I was explaining something to a patient the other day. She's like, Doc, I've been healthy most of my life. How did this, she got this crazy diagnosis that showed up, and she's like, where'd it come from? How did I get this?
Mm.
And I said, well, here's something to think about. There's just fundamental things to consider on a chemical level, as far as your body's concerned. You have this delicate dance between two things. One is nutrients, the other one's toxins. And the one thing that we have a constant supply of is toxins.
Yeah, plenty of toxins.
Yeah, plenty of them. They're everywhere. There's literally, in the last 60 years, we've been exposed to 27 million carcinogenic compounds that are in our environment every day. 27 million. That's a ridiculous amount of number. I mean, that's huge, and it's everywhere. These are the common things. These aren't just the things that you have to live in a certain area to find. They're all over. These are everywhere. Okay. On the flip side, we need about 200 nutrients on a daily basis. Okay. If we don't get those 200 nutrients, and it's a given, we're exposed to these other toxins. Guess what blocks the toxins from getting stuck in our system?
The nutrients.
200 nutrients. Okay, if you have those, there's think of where you plug in, your hair dryer or your light or your, whatever your cell phone into the socket in the wall, right? You have that little plug in. Okay, every nutrient in your body has a space designed just for it. Okay, for it to plug into your cells. Okay, just like you have there's a certain, your cell phone, depending on what type of cell phone, has a certain adapter that plugs into that phone,
Yep.
right?
If you're at a dead battery and someone doesn't have the right one, you know what that's about.
Right. You can't use an iPhone charger for Android and vice versa. They don't work because it doesn't fit in that slot. But you could fit thousands of other things in that slot. Right? That's how, if we don't have those nutrients, those slots aren't filled. Therefore, when we get exposed to toxins, they fit into those slots. We have such an ample variety of toxins that it's really easy to get those slots plugged up. Now, that creates two problems. One, the machinery is missing a nut or a bolt at this point. because it doesn't have the nutrient, right?
Yes.
Two, it has a faulty part in there that's causing all kinds of other problems, if that makes sense. And so if that process goes on for any length of time, you can't help but have something break down. Here's another way to explain it. If someone's eating the standard American diet, okay, the standard American diet supplies 20% of the recommended daily allowance of vitamins and minerals.
Wow.
Okay. And the recommended daily allowance is only the level that is required, a level of intake that's required to prevent a nutritional deficiency disease, not to have optimal health. Okay. So we're missing on the standard American diet, people are missing 80% of the minimum, the bare minimum of what they need to prevent a nutritional deficiency disease.
And you know,
Wow, that's so
and not
crazy.
to go down a rabbit hole, right? But that almost feels like it's by design. I'm just saying. I mean, it almost does. It almost does. But I know what you said before about our farming practices that basically stripped our land. Food is not as nutritious as it once was, and so
Well, they're not doing things the way it used to be done.
Well, we were talking to a naturopath, a friend of yours from a long time ago, and Sharon, and she said, at this stage, people have to understand supplementation has to be it has to
be part of your life. You
Yeah.
can't, you cannot get the nutrients you need from food. It's not, maybe vitamins, okay? Because vitamins are produced by fruits and vegetables, right?
Right, of course.
Not minerals. Minerals are elements. One of the laws of chemistry is you can't create or destroy an element.
Yeah.
So it's either present or it's not, period.
Wow.
Now, didn't you find out that honey has every mineral except for
Vitamins
two
and
or
minerals,
something?
that's why it's considered a superfood.
Right.
Raw.
Right.
Not honey that's been processed and like it has to be a raw
The real
honey.
deal.
The real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of the honey, you look at it, it's like not really honey. They've done so much to it.
Right.
It's, I think it's Florida that have to put on there if this is if it's considered a honey product instead of honey.
Right.
It's the only state that's got that rule.
Right. I wish they all would, because it's the best thing to do for honey is find someone that is local that has bees, is a beekeeper.
Yes.
My cousin keeps bees, but she's all the way in Minnesota.
That would be a bit of
local. There's a reason why you want it local, though,
and
right?
you want it local too, because you want the local pollen.
Yeah.
That acts kind of like immunotherapy for allergies.
Wow.
So getting local honey is actually really good for your immune system, developing resistance against the allergens in your area.
Oh, wow. So then people should definitely be looking for farmers in the area that beekeep and do honey in their area, because you want what you're
right. And you want to get it right
just run
from
down the street from
right from the hive, even if it's got bees knees and whatever else.
I think I got a leg.
No,
my honey's supposed to be looking back at me.
Yeah, right. Oh well, in goes the honeycomb.
That one got eyes.
Now, because Lourdes got into a conversation once with a gal that said, honey's not vegan, and she's like, maybe not, but
no, this is how I responded.
Because spit.
But this is what I said. I never understood when they said that honey can't be vegan. And I'm like, but isn't that the bee doing the thing and then spitting it out? So you're saying that I'm a carnivore because I make out with my husband because we're exchanging spit. I'm just saying.
Exactly. Yeah, it's about the same logic there. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's like it makes no sense. I'm not eating the bee.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm not eating.
Right.
It's literally they're doing their
the
thing
honeycomb.
and out.
That's actually there's protein in there, but it's not because you ate the bee.
Right. It's what they're doing to make the stuff. It's not, and I'm going, we exchange saliva all the time. Are you kidding? Now you're going to say I'm a carnivore. I eat people. No, I don't.
Behind closed doors, we're carnivores.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so that's why I never understood that. I'm like, that makes no sense to me.
Yeah. I know. I wouldn't. I wouldn't categorize it that way personally, but there are, there are people that are just staunch. They will not have any animal product, I don't think we were designed. We may have been designed that way originally. I believe our genetic blueprint today is kind of like, how you used to use an old printer, and that you make the copies, and you take the original, stick it in there, and make a copy, and then take that copy, make a copy, and take the copy.
Sure.
Yep.
30, 40 copies later, you couldn't read nothing. I mean, it was
Right.
Yeah.
you couldn't tell what was on there. I believe that's where we are. From the original to now, I think our genetic imprint that we have is so far from where we began that it's part of the reason why we see all the degenerative diseases that we see.
Yep.
Is because we don't have good copies anymore. They don't exist.
We went so far away from it.
Yeah.
And then you look at even our produce now, even that's gone so far away from how it used to be. In fact, I remember Sharon telling me a long time ago that the vitamins and stuff and nutrients you got from an apple way back in the day compared
100
to
years ago. 100 years
Right
ago
today.
compared to today, it's 27 apples today, organic, well-grown, good, healthy apples today give us what one is 27. I think it's 27 to 1.
Yep.
27 apples today to give you the nutrients an apple would have had 100 to 120 years ago.
Yeah. That's how depleted. And that's
Right.
why we have to have supplements, because it's just that depleted.
Well, that's why you make supplements. That's why you do
Right.
that.
That's
Oh, yeah.
what it's all about. Exactly.
Right.
Well, I got to tell you, even like since we've been doing gut health and super digest, it's
I love gut
I can
health.
tell the difference. Like I really can. I mean, even in the morning, like just by taking them each day, and I go to the bathroom way better than what I used to. Like I always went to the bathroom, but nowhere near like I do.
I
now.
thought I was regular.
I am now.
Right. Well, here's with digestive enzymes, what you get is when you're consuming digestive enzymes with food, they maximize what you absorb out of the food. So if if you're eating a nice organic apple, okay, and you have your other food and all this, you'll say some apple, carrots, some of this, some of that, and you get all this nice, good food that you eat, you take the enzymes with it, it's going to maximize the nutrients that you pull out of that food. Okay. Even if the food doesn't, we just said it would take 27 organic apples today to get one from 100 to 120 years ago, to get the same level of nutrition. Well, given the case, since that is the case, we want to take, if we're going to eat one of these apples that would take 27 to make one of the old ones, well, we want to maximize we want to squeeze every bit of nutrients out of that we can. And that's what digestive enzymes do when you eat. You take them with food. They extract everything you can possibly get out of that. That's where the fulvic acid is another component to that. If you're taking fulvic acid with your food, it's actually grabbing the nutrients and transporting them to your bloodstream. I mean, it massively enhances the amount of nutrition you get out of the food that you eat.
Nice.
Okay, so what you have left over is you have more, we'll call it pulp, when you're done, because you've extracted so much from the food. There's actually more soluble waste that can leave, and so you have better bowel movements and all this stuff with that. It's
Super Digest.
Super Digest, one of the one of the strongest digestive formulas on the market.
That's And again,
Strongest.
this makes sense, right? Dr. Nuzum, but now you guys are seeing a theme, right? Dr. Nuzum just does the best because that's what he does.
And when it comes to your digestive system, because that's where you get the most of, nutrition, you definitely want it to be amazing.
The top notch.
Yep. And this is like 10 types of active digestive enzymes to enhance your digestion of proteins.
Protein, fats, and carbs,
Yep.
as well as pineapple proteolytic enzyme and papaya proteolytic enzyme.
Proteolytic.
Proteolytic. It sounds like an era of dinosaurs, doesn't it?
Yeah, proteolytic.
This dinosaur was found in the proteolytic era.
I just like saying proteolytic.
Yeah, that's actually our new word now. We're just going around saying proteolytic.
And it's got pineapple proteolytic.
We never had to learn proteolytic until we met Dr. Nuzum, and now we understand what proteolytic is. It's an enzyme that actually helps you break down protein.
And by the way, and carbs, and you need the enzymes to break down the proteins and carbs and the stuff that you need, because that's how you get your nutrition.
Right, and
So
it's
enzymes
well,
are
this one
really
has like 10, right?
Yes.
10 of types of active digestive enzymes.
Active. There's the key.
Yeah, they're not
Active
sleepy.
digest-
They're not sleepy enzymes.
No.
They're not just like, well, okay, no, they're active. They're running
They're
around.
active.
Taking
10 types of active digestive
So
enzymes.
you want to go to www.drnewsome.com, look for Super Digest that my lovely model wife assistant is holding.
And by the way, the products we share, it's because we take them.
We're using them.
Because we love what it does for our bodies. It's really good. So you guys definitely, oh my gosh,
Digestion is crucial to your health, and that's why Dr. Newsome has created this
and when it
Super
comes to
Digest.
digestion, if you have issues with your digestive system, you're going to want Super Digest.
That's right.
Yep. Super Digest. It really makes sense, because since I've been doing that and taking those when I eat, you can tell, like I used to sometimes eat stuff and I just be bloated. I don't feel the bloatation anymore.
Right.
It's like it's all gone.
Right.
Well, no, but and to your point, and to your point, if you have that soluble that stuff going through your system, that's how we're built. It's how we're supposed to do. Yeah.
It's supposed to move like that. Exactly.
Right.
Right. Another thing this is in relation to that big C word that everyone knows about, right? When we're conceived, those cells turn into stem cells, and they keep dividing into stem cell. For 42 days, we are a glob of stem cells. Okay.
Wow.
Yes.
Potential every minute we have more and more potential, right? It's not until day 42 that anything differentiates from just being a stem cell to something specific. The first thing that differentiates is your pancreas.
Wow.
The first cells to differentiate in our gestation are pancreatic cells. And the first thing they start producing are pancreatic enzymes. Those pancreatic enzymes then act as traffic cops, if you will, for the differentiation of all that stem cell, all that potential, okay, gets converted into an eyeball, a toe, a liver, a heart, a bone, muscle, or this, that, and whatever, per the direction of the pancreatic enzymes, the digestive enzymes from the pancreas. And if someone happens to develop a tumor somewhere, it's because they don't have enough digestive enzymes in their system.
Interesting.
Wow.
Those if you have enough digestive enzymes in your system, you don't develop tumors. If you don't have enough digestive enzymes, you will develop a tumor at some point. Because
that is like amazing.
you don't have enough traffic cops. And so when a stem cell goes a little sideways, there's no traffic cop over there to, hey, get back over here. There's no one to direct that differentiation.
You just presented a slide that kind of talks about this, and it looks like a cone, and it talks about I mean, I'll let you break that down because you can explain it better than I can, but if I can find a slide, I'll put it up here so people can see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
My detox funnel. And
yes,
what I found, this is just something, I had a professor years ago. His name was Dr. Bernard Jensen. And if you look up Dr. Jensen, and you'll find all kinds of things about uridology or reading of the iris, and he was the one. He didn't come up with it, but he's the one to make it famous, if you will. And fantastic man. And I got to work with him the last couple of years of his life. He was amazing. And his thing was systemic detoxification, how to properly detoxify. And he had the same contention that I have with most people that talk about detox. Most people, when they talk about detoxification, they're talking about the very end of the process, the very end of the process, or detoxification on a cellular level. Okay, they're not talking about the whole there's a whole litany of processes in between those two. And what isn't taught in any medical school, not even chiropractic or naturopathic medical schools today, by the way, is exactly how the body drains.
Are you referring to like the lymphatic system, or
you have multiple systems? Okay, so you have your cells. Okay, your cells have a thing called a vacuole, and it's for evacuating, right? Or for entry. That's a two-way vacuum, basically. So it keeps everything in the cell, and everything outside the cell, but it's an entry and exit point. Okay, and your cell has a whole set of mechanisms inside of it that are designed to clean it up. Okay, it's a very, very tidy little city, if that makes sense. If you take an electron microscope and you look inside of a cell, it looks like Los Angeles in rush hour. I mean, it's hopping, it's moving. There's so much stuff going on inside our cells. The little diagrams we see in anatomy class, no, they don't even come close. I mean, it's
right.
Literally, in to give you an example, we talked about mitochondria just a minute ago. A fat cell has one mitochondria. Okay.
Oh.
A brain cell, a liver cell, or a heart cell have up to 2,000 mitochondria.
Oh,
wow, that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Massive difference. Massive. Okay. So when you look at the anatomy books, you see these little, 3, maybe 4 mitochondria in a cell. That's a really sick cell.
Something's wrong with that cell. Something's wrong with that cell.
Right. A normal muscle cell will have 800 to maybe 1,200. You get Olympic level athletes, they're really, really in ridiculous shape. They might have as many as 1,500 to 1,700 mitochondria per cell.
Would that number still be true for someone who's trying to break the NFL record for pushing up weight?
It's got to be up there, because man, that takes a lot of work from the mitochondria. Sure. A lot of super earth energy.
Yeah, of course.
That is so interesting, though, to know the difference, and it goes to show that you don't really need those. I mean, you need fat cells, obviously, but I mean, the fact that there's more in the rest of the cells than there is in fat.
Right.
That's credit to the big, the big designer of us, the big creator, right? I mean, because if you think about it, there's clearly a higher intelligence to how we're built, because the right cells have got the most oomph for a reason.
Right. Think about that. You got your brain and central nervous system, your heart, and your liver. And obviously your central nervous system, from the time it forms to the time you die, it never rests.
Wow.
Yes.
Ever. It never rests. Neither
always
does
on the
heart.
clock.
And neither does your liver.
Right. Of course.
True. Yeah.
They never rest. So they have to have the most.
Which is why super earth energy is such an amazing product, because it's helping the mitochondria, which is the whole
supporting
point.
That exactly, supporting those mitochondria. Right. So just to give you an example, okay, so on a cellular level, we have massive amount of stuff going on. Okay, it's not as simple as it looks in the anatomy books, right? So when they have whole detox mechanisms within the cell, okay, so the cell, it has to clean itself out and then shoot the toxins out that vacuum chamber, right? And so it expels those toxins. Well, those toxins go just outside the cell into what's called the extracellular fluid. Okay, so that's the water around a cell, okay, because every cell in our body is floating in water. Okay, and one of the things I explain when it comes to, you know, like genetic mutations, everything inside the cells also floating in water, including down in the nucleus where all the DNA, you know, the most important part of the DNA is down in there. It's that DNA is floating in water. Okay, and that DNA will respond to the condition of the water it's floating in. So the better the nutrition, the cleaner the environment that DNA is floating in, the fewer problems it's going to have. The dirtier it gets, the nastier the environment, the more, let's just call it dirty. The dirtier that water gets, the more reactions the DNA is going to have in order to protect itself. Right. And those reactions turn into, faulty genetic stuff going on, mutations and all kinds of stuff. Wow. Okay. But it goes back to how clean or dirty the things are, and how with your level of nutrition versus your level of toxins. All right. And that's on a cellular level. Now, once those toxins are expelled out of the cell and they're in that extracellular fluid, the only thing they can do there is cause damage on the outside of the cell. Okay, the outside of the cell is made up of strings of fat and then strings of protein. And it's this soccer ball or basketball, if you will, made of all these different strands of fats and proteins. And what happens is when we get a decent amount of buildup of toxins in the fluid around the cell, those toxins make the fat, those strands of fat that make up our cell wall, it starts to make those go rancid.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oxidize. It's rancid, making them go rancid. And they don't work as well. All of a sudden, the water inside the cell starts leaking into the water outside the cell and vice versa, and the cell dies.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, that's what happens. Now, that happens at a faster rate if that extracellular fluid isn't draining. Guess where all that drains? All that drains into your lymphatic system.
Wow.
Okay.
So everything around the cell, okay, has to leave, and new fluid has to come in. The circulatory system, the cardiovascular system brings new fluid in, but it's the lymphatic fluid that's draining all those toxins. All those toxins go to lymph nodes to be reduced, would be the right word for it. So the lymph nodes try to deal with some of those toxins, and then whatever they can't deal with, they either wall off inside of themselves, or they shoot them back out into the lymphatic system, and the lymphatic system carries all that extra waste. The lymphatic system, there's twice as much fluid in the lymphatic system as there is in the circulatory system.
Oh, wow.
Okay, but all of the fluid in both systems have to flow through the circulatory system in order for all of it to go to the filtration systems, which are our liver and kidneys. Okay, so we are to start off with the lymphatic system draining. Lymphatic system drains into the bloodstream. The bloodstream takes all of that waste over to the filters. Okay, so whatever made it past the lymph nodes in the lymphatic system has to go into the bloodstream. Once it gets into the bloodstream, it has to go to the filtration systems, and the liver is your primary filter in that case. It filters every drop of blood in your body every 3 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a rapid turnaround.
But it makes sense why then the importance of detoxing.
Yes.
Oh, exactly. So at any
Well, no, but
point,
when Lourdes advises people when they have cancer and their cancer, they're kind of getting ahead of it and the cancer's starting to subside, one of the things she advises them is you have to get those dead cancer cells out of your body. It's toxic.
Yeah, people think that the moment they kill it, that's all it needs. It's like, well, it can't
No,
stay
no,
in
no,
there.
no, it can't stay.
You don't want that in there. It's
Right.
toxic. Yeah.
What if it doesn't feed cancer, it'll feed infection.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which that's
And-
not good either.
No, because have you ever, when you had steaks, did you ever forget one in the back of the car? I've done it.
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh, it's horrible. Or you get into someone's car and they had a half-eaten hamburger in the back, and it rank. You know what I mean? It's a horrible smell, right? That's because
That happened when I was in Boy Scouts.
That's so
We thought we got it all out, but there was that one little guy, that one little hamburger that got out. And so when we got back in that car after our 2-day hike in and 2-day hike out, yeah, that was
oh gosh, bad,
yeah, that was awful.
Oh, so what's happening there? The reason meat decays is because there's bugs that are in the meat already, and there's bugs in the environment that are there to break those types of things down.
That's
In us too, though,
I gotta
right?
say that just creeps
They're
me
in
out.
us as well. Exactly. Right. We have them as well. And so they're already in the tissue. And if you have dead tissue in your body, it opens up this huge smorgasbord for those bugs. The thing with those bugs is they're also the ones that cause infections.
So now is that the same? Because you're telling me and my skin's just crawling, but
Like maggots on,
like it's
on
gross.
old hamburgers.
But I'm just thinking, like even when someone has had or they end up getting with gangrene, is it called?
Right.
My grandfather had a problem.
Yeah. So I wonder if there's something to that because
That's
they didn't
exactly what it is.
right? They didn't
But
get DPT tox.
The reason the tissue is called necrosis. The reason necrosis is just a name for a process. And what necrosis is the tissue decaying. Okay. And it turns black, it's nasty, and it turns into gangrene and all that kind of stuff. That happens because of the bugs that are in the tissue breaking it down. Now, everything that we call probiotics do exactly the opposite.
Huh.
Okay. You have these two sets of bugs. You got these ones that eat sugar, and what they do to the meat is they convert the meat into sugars and then eat those sugars. They're really smart.
Yeah.
So they break the protein down into a sugar and then eat the sugar. It's the same thing as happening in gangrene or all those nasty processes, but it's also what happens in a knee that went bad because of long-standing inflammation.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same process, okay, on a lesser scale.
Dr. Nuzum's Inflamagon.
It's powerful anti-inflammatory botanical formula.
So this bad boy's got curcumin, and he gets that curcumin from organic turmeric root.
Yes, which is important. We want organic. And freeze-dried frankincense oil.
Freeze-dried frankincense oil is boswellic acid, actually. Boswellic acid.
I love these words.
I know. Our vocabulary has been so expanded since we started working with Dr. Nuzum.
Yes.
And that's boswellic acid is important because it's one of the things that help you. It actually helps with inflammation, but it also is an inhibitor for tumors.
Yeah.
So
so why not prevent or get rid of if you have one of those things or you don't know you have it yet?
Yeah, right. And why just jump ahead of it? Because this formula is bound to Dr. Nuzum's unique fulvic acid and humic acid.
Which, by the way, those two minerals that you really do need if you want to stay healthy. And it gives maximum absorption and anti-inflammatory action. You're likely dealing with inflammation. Yes, because most people don't realize that if you end up with certain pains and aches, that's inflammation. inflammation causes aches and pains to let you know there's an issue.
And prolonged inflammation is really what causes these chronic illnesses, up to and including cancer. So
we take this as well, and it's amazing. In fact, real quick tidbit, even as a thin person, I always had this little pouch, but since I've been taking this, I'm like, I must have had inflammation because that little pouch is gone.
Goodbye pouch, no more punch. So you want to go to www.drnuzum.com, get that anti-inflammatory formula of his in Inflamagon. I love the name Inflamagon.
Like it's gone.
Inflamagon.
Inflam is gone.
We love it.
We do.
I'll let that one slide. We love it. We know that you love it too, because look, inflammation is something that you really want to work out of your system right now.
Yeah, like if you want to avoid health issues, when you have too much inflammation just creates, and especially if it's consistently going on,
right.
It causes diseases, it causes illnesses. Who wants to be sick?
And you can trust Inflamagon because it comes from Dr. Nuzum, and
we trust it.
We trust it, and we love it.
And we take this sucker daily.
Love it.
We like to prevent.
It's the same process. Okay, it's a degenerative process. Well, that degenerative process is facilitated by the microorganisms in our body that break stuff down. They're there for a reason. They have a job. Their job is to break down dead and worn out tissue. If you have too much dead and worn out tissue, their numbers are going to go too high. When they go too high, you'll end up with sepsis and you will die.
Wow.
It's
that simple.
That's simple.
That's straightforward.
Yeah. Well, they say, and there's people that do get septic. I mean,
sure.
Yeah.
Well, you got septic.
I did
after a tumor.
I don't remember a lot, so
he doesn't recall. But when we had gotten into the ICU, you had gotten septic, and so they thought it was the port that you got in Mexico, so
which wasn't,
and they biopsied it, and it wasn't. It was just your body just had too much junk in it.
Right, and that's exactly. There was a smorgasbord. There was a dead tumor somewhere.
I had a lot. I did. I had a lot.
True.
Well, that does make sense though, because when I got back, I mean, we killed all the cancer, but I wasn't getting it all out of the system.
Right.
Yuck.
So what was not happening is that drainage of the lymphatic system. It was so overloaded it couldn't keep up. Okay. Now, here's an interesting thing. Your liver does about 80 to 85% of all the detoxification of your blood, if not more. I mean, in some cases, it's like 95%. Okay.
Wow.
Yes.
And so let's just put it at 90%. Okay, just for kicks, right? We'll say the liver cleans the blood, like 90% of the blood, whatever the spillover has to be dealt with by the kidneys. Okay. So if the liver gets all clogged up in that, let's say that 90% drops to 80%, that means there's twice as much for the kidneys to deal with.
Sure.
Okay. If it drops to 70%, we're at 3 times more stuff that the kidneys can't do that for very long. They're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to deal with just, salts and a couple of acids, and they're not supposed to deal with everything that the liver is supposed to deal with.
Right.
Yeah, because it's not built that way. So I wonder if people who have had kidney failure and kidney issues stem from the liver.
You can't permanently fix kidney issues without caring for the liver.
Wow. Okay.
That makes so much sense, because I'm just, now that you're saying that, I'm like, wow. So then if your liver is not working at 100%,
right,
the kidneys have to take over, but they can't.
Right. They have to, and they're not designed to do that for very long,
Right. Wow.
Here's one key thing to think about. The liver detoxifies and dumps all the nasty garbage that it filters out of our bloodstream into our intestines.
Yes.
Huh. And not the colon. It dumps it into the very top of our intestines, right below our stomach.
I would have thought colon. Yeah, you got me there.
Right.
I was almost to say colon, and then you said intestines.
So there's another design in here. Okay, it's pancreatic enzymes, Okay, pancreatic enzymes are
Good old
supposed
pancreatic
I know
enzyme.
where
The
we are,
first
right back
enzyme
there
we got.
again.
Yes.
So your it's called your common bile duct. Comes down out of the liver. Kind of looks like an upside down tree, if or not like a tree, you know, and it just comes down the trunk, if that makes sense. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what you have going on one side, you have your bile duct from your gallbladder. Okay. And on the other side, you have the pancreatic duct. And they all kind of empty into the same chute, you know, or into the same trunk of the tree, if that makes sense, right?
Yes.
Yes, different branches, same tree.
And right. And so as all that stuff comes down out of the liver, there's supposed to be mixed with enzymes from the pancreas to help break this stuff down and make it less harmful.
Yes.
Wow. That's
Okay.
very interesting.
It is.
The problem we run into is that if we're eating foods that have no enzymes in them and we're not getting fulvic acid from anywhere, I'll come back to that in just a minute. Our pancreas has to produce all the enzymes to break down all that food.
Wow.
Yes.
Eventually it gets wore out.
Right.
You know? I mean, if you, let's say you ran 100 miles every day, never took a break, your feet and legs would fall apart.
True.
Yeah. Right.
All right, because you're not giving it a break, right? You know, they're not ever being able to get some rest so they can replenish and rebuild, right? So if you stay on it all the time, well, your pancreas has to do that 3 times a day.
With the standard American diet, more like 8-10 times, really.
Right.
Right.
It has to go overboard to really kick in and break that stuff down. So what ends up happening is, because the enzymes don't finish that process as well, the older we get, we start reabsorbing a lot of those toxins that are coming out of our liver.
Wow.
Okay.
Yikes.
And one thing that should be there in our diet to help neutralize that is fiber, but not just like psyllium husk fiber from fruits and vegetables.
Sure.
Right.
You know, if you look up fiber from citrus fruits, pectin from other fruits, the soluble fibers from all your leafy vegetables, if you research out every one of those, the effect that they have on your system, that all of them neutralize toxins.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
All of them.
So important.
And you know, most people aren't getting any of that in their diet.
Right.
Yeah, you know, it's so funny because most people look at fruits and vegetables like yuck.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it's literally the thing that they need while they're eating everything else.
Right.
Wow.
So real quick, before I forget, we're back to the fulvic acid. One of the things fulvic acid does is it replenishes your pancreas's ability to produce enzymes, while at the same time enabling the probiotics in your microbiome to produce digestive enzymes as well.
Huh.
Love that.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things that is more than just minerals, and there's a whole lot of things that does. I talked to one of the top scientists over at the International Humate Society. It's a bunch of geeks. What it was.
I was going to say, those guys sound like they know how to party.
Yeah. Ooh. He said, and this guy's like, you know, scientist, multiple PhD in different scientific fields. Guy's ridiculously, you know, geeky, smart, really amazing. He said, Doc, if we put every scientist on the planet into full-time research into fulvic acid, it would take probably 100 years before we would discover everything that we could use it for.
Wow.
So it's that
this
That's
stuff is
and so extraordinary.
It's extraordinary. It's amazing what we do know about it, but we only know the tip of the iceberg.
Wow.
It's the benefits we can get from this are just ridiculous. So that's in a lot of my protocols, I have fulvic acid with the digestive enzymes, or fulvic acid with the digestive enzymes in the probiotics and those types of things. They're entirely synergistic. They just work so well together.
I'm glad we take it.
Yeah.
I'm glad we take it.
You have fulvic acid.
Yeah, because we take it all. Yes.
Most of my products have it. There's some that just doesn't. It doesn't give you the bang for the buck, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so it's just no reason to put it in there. But a lot of my products, we actually have extracted specific components of fulvic acid to hold different ingredients together to make it more easily absorbed and all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of science to it.
I love that.
Yeah, well, we got science to you, sir.
Yeah, and it's so funny because every time, even when I'm talking to friends on the phone, it's like, okay, you got to get, I start talking about the fulvic and all the stuff that you got to get on this stuff. And, it's something the body literally needs in order to function like it's supposed to. And now the way you're explaining it just makes so much sense, especially knowing that it has so many things that we haven't even touched upon, that even learned yet,
right?
Because there's so much to learn. Wow, that's amazing.
Now she's going to send them this video and be like,
I know, you got to keep watching this. Yes.
Let them tell you what.
Yeah.
So one of the interests, when it comes to the minerals, okay, because that's usually where most people talk about fulvics and stuff, is the minerals. Most minerals in our diets that aren't directly from fruits and vegetables are in what's called an inorganic form. Okay, it's a salt. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
And you can't grow anything on salt.
No.
In fact, if you really want to make someone mad,
you want to kill something. Right. You can salt something and kill it, but you can't salt something and grow it. It just doesn't work that way. Okay. You can add minerals in low concentrations, like let's say Epsom salts. You can add that to your to the water for your house plants, and it'll help your house plants, right?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Really good. It's good for house plants. Low concentration. You throw a bunch of Epsom salts in your house plants, you'll kill them.
Right.
Well, I'll avoid it just in case I overdo
it. But then you follow. Okay, so for instance, they used to salt meat to preserve it.
Yes,
why? Because the salt would kill all the bugs in the meat.
Yes, of course.
It didn't fall apart. They weren't there digesting it.
Good old jerky.
And which I was saying, it makes sense because we're like pretty much bugs.
Sure. We are 1,000 times more insect or microbial than we are human from a genetic standpoint.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like
just a big old bug factory.
So we don't want to do too much salt on our bodies.
Right. Well, virtually all your minerals in the supplement world are originally salts. The way they can make them absorbable by your body is by attaching a amino acid to it, and it's called chelated.
Oh, wow.
So they chelate a mineral with an amino acid that goes through your digestive tract. Your digestive tract absorbs the amino acid and gets the mineral by default. Okay. Although that mineral is inorganic, it's not it's a salt. It's not a living substance. Okay. Now, if you have spinach or carrots or cucumber or apples or oranges or a banana, okay, the minerals in that are naturally occurring in the food is an organic, basically an organic version of that mineral. Okay, it's ionic form. It's not in a salt form.
Got it.
It's very completely different form of that element. Okay, so you have a form that's dead, salt, right? The other form, you have a component of a living organism, a banana or an apple or spinach, a cucumber, right?
Yeah.
In that form, you absorb almost all of those minerals when you consume that that fruit or vegetable.
Wow.
I mean, that kind of makes sense though. That
And
makes sense though.
It's
Because it's an organic form or an organic form. It makes sense that we would absorb like that. Yeah.
it's
Wow.
we're designed to pick it up. You know, we weren't designed to eat rocks.
I know.
Well.
So listen, we know that we kind of cut it off in a weird way this week, because what happened was we got into a good long conversation with
yeah.
Dr. Nuzum, and you know, he's a busy man, so whenever we can grab him, we hold on with both hands.
Yes, because he is an extraordinary man doing a lot of, he's up to big things and changing so many lives. And so because of that, when we get him, we hold on to him. And then in the middle of the conversation, it went right into all this information we wanted to share anyway.
Yeah, and really we love the man. And one of the reasons why we love him is because it is difficult to edit his stuff.
Because the
all
information is
good.
just so good.
Yeah, it's all good. We
It's
can't
so good.
stop. So we'll do part 2 for next week. I know it kind of feels like a cliffhanger this week. Apologize for that. It's just that the information is just too good for us to hack it down to where we can get it into just one episode.
Yeah, it'd be
doing you guys a disservice, I think.
It would be a huge disservice. I mean, this information is just extraordinary. It's very educational and very helpful. And I think that because of that, and because our mission is to change people's lives in such a positive, healthy way, that there's no way we're going to cut any of it.
No, truth. And so by now you're actually like, ooh, Dr. Nuzum.
Yes.
Go to his website, drnuzum.com. Check out the products that he was talking about. The thinking behind all of his formulations have to do with what we were discussing.
Yes.
And so it's almost like ball the bouncing ball. It all makes perfect sense.
And make sure you guys, while you guys are on there, definitely get this book. The Detox for Life book is so informative, has recipes. It takes you through the steps on how to detox the proper way, the healthy way, and then maintain that healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
So definitely get this there. Remember, Lourdes and Chris, and that's how you can get your 15% off on that.
Yeah, just use promo code Lourdes and Chris at checkout. You get 15% off of your order.
Yes.
So yeah, it's like, try it. You're gonna know how amazing it really is.
And you're gonna love it like we do.
Yep, absolutely. So until next week, I'm sorry, I'm jumping the gun. If you haven't gone on to lourdesandchrisshow.com and join up for our newsletter, you need to do that too. Just head on over to the lourdesandchrisshow.com and you'll see all of our previous episodes on there. We referred to a couple of them in this one. So when we say, when we talked about that, it's because we talked about it before. So check that out too.
Check it out.
And then register on there with our newsletter so that you can stay informed on what's going on. Check us out. Look around. It's all right there. Say hello. We love it when you do. And then
definitely go on to drnuzum.com and register for his, and subscribe for his newsletter. There's stuff that he shares. I mean, just so much information and recipes that you would be nuts not to subscribe.
Yeah, for sure. And, back at us with that too on the lourdesandchrisshow.com. And you can follow us on social media. Social media. It's just so easy for you to stay in contact with us. We're on all the major platforms. All of these. It's like
all of these.
So yeah, follow us on social media as well. And as always, we absolutely love you. We thank you so much for joining us each and every week. And you're helping to change this conversation that we call health and wealth through health. So and
thank you for those who have reached out and actually shared your stories with us on how it's changed your life.
Absolutely. Yeah, we love that. We love that. So until next week, Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, when you see part 2 of Dr. Nuzum. You don't want to miss next week because he actually gets into some stuff towards the end there about mindset and things like that, which is just mind-blowing.
Yeah, especially when it comes to healing. So you really don't want to miss that.
Yeah. So we'll see you next week because that's how this works. Next week, Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, our next episode will be up and we'll see you then. But until then, we love you. Have a blessed week and we'll see you then.
See you then.